Alright, welcome back. This is my first live video in a while. Let's just make sure it is up and running. So we will go over here. Let's see. Alright, welcome back. This is my first live video. Okay, so there seems to be... Okay, let's see if this helps. We'll just test in a second. I'll come back to it. I think I figured out why I'm having that robotic sound issue on live streams. Let's test though. Okay, let's see if this helps. Yes, that is a help. Okay, I figured out why it did that, but anyways, welcome back. We are going to be tracking some of these storms that have been really popping off here. No, I'm not too concerned about any of these. This guy looks a little intense, and so does this one, but just tracking some of these storms, having a fun time, keeping people up to date, and trying to warn people in advance. Let's see though. Yeah, a couple of these guys could be some big producers. Tornado warning. Ooh, radar indicated rotation. Flying debris. Yeah, there are some bad storms right now. A couple of these guys who are branched off. This guy has, you can even see the hook on here. I mean, some of these have super obvious hooks. Right here's the hook, because uh, you can see it's just a typical little loop at the end. A lot of people think that this would be the hook. I mean, it could definitely have been, but in this case, it's not. So, that's the good news. But a couple of those storms, this guy might form into something maybe. Some of these storms will have the capability of producing tornadoes, so we're just making sure that does not happen. Down in Waco, a couple sprinkles. Gotta love Waco. Here, I'll go. Minnesota Key. See their weather forecast. Whew. Pretty warm outside, if I'd say. 90-degree days, yeah. So there's tons of storms right now. It looks pretty nasty. It's like this gigantic, it looks like swirling rotation, just a gigantic low pressure. But really, it's just several low pressures. I'd say there's one probably right in here, because it does seem to move in the shape. So there's definitely a low pressure here, and it's causing all this around it, all this havoc, but yeah, that hook looks like it's gonna become an issue. Anyways, let's spend a little bit of time on some of these storms right across the border, actually. Some of these storms could also produce something. A lot of these are pretty well connected, just scattered little thunderstorms. But a couple of these guys in Mexico could spin like a dust up tornado. But a couple of these guys, they're looking like they could cause some issues. Through our 24-hour radar. Yeah, so definitely some severe weather up in Omaha, places like that. And then you have the risk of a whole bunch of scattered stuff. This weather in Texas stays for practically the whole time, actually, which is sort of impressive. Doesn't want to go away. Here, let me make sure. 720. Okay, good. Yeah, but it could be pretty bad. So that's what I'm here to try and help with. Try and give some ideas on what's happening. Um, couple probably hail producers. Let me guess. Ooh, tornado. Tornado in Oklahoma. That was last updated 3:30. So, which is really 4:30. Yeah, could be some possible tornadoes wanting to come up. This is the one that they were talking about by Tuttle. This was actually yesterday, but they were just updating it. Then probably some hail tornado reports. Yeah, I mean, same sort of stuff all throughout this region, but yeah, spotters and broadcast media report a tornado southwest of Lake Thunderbird. Over here in Tulsa, thunderstorm wind gusts, so it's not been a couple pretty days in a row, honestly, for some of these areas. Uh, hail, so hail's following this Lincoln uh cell. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Dime-sized hail, so 0.75 max inch size hail. Some of these storms could really produce some issues, so you can see all of the severe tornadic lines. We'll look at some of these. This guy's probably up there, yeah. 0.7 out of 10 on the tornado impact, but 6 on hail, yeah. Max hail size almost 2 inches, so take shelter, don't go outside. Probability of severe hail, 80%. Probability of hail, 100%. Storm tops 35,000 feet. That's actually not bad for a storm. Storm chasers will definitely be on some of these guys. Tornadic impact on here is at 2.9. That's getting up there. In David City. So some of these spots could see some very bad weather today. Uh, Earlier today, I'm assuming when these guys pass through the area. Yeah, so this is about when a couple of these. So they were talking about these couple ones. I would be more actually about worried about this more than this bottom one, but apparently this guy had something tornadic in it. Some rotation. Hail impact was a 5 out of 10. Max hail size, 0.9 of an inch. Severe hail, 50. Probability of hail, 100%. Some of these storms could be very bad. They are organizing. Whoa. Could be the hail right there, actually. Yeah. Couple spots. Man, some of these spots have not got a break the last couple of days, actually. I mean, you can just see in places like Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska, this area just doesn't get a break. I swear it doesn't. Um, yeah, so up here, this should be really severe. I mean, in these storms up here, you might get like maybe a brief land spout or something, but nothing the chasers would want to chase. I mean, it's just sort of like a dust devil, except made with rain and stuff. A couple of these storms just now crossing the border down here. Um, okay, some of these storms are now forming a little bit more down in this Texas, but nothing to be too worried about, but they will definitely tell you if something's getting bad. Yeah. Let's talk about earthquakes, actually, while we're on the topic. Down here in this spot, White City, New Mexico, they've had a very active couple weeks. None of these can be felt, but 2.3s. I've seen a lot of 2s. Earthquakes have been pretty active. Let's just look at this while we can. Yeah, there's that swirling. It on radar, this thing looks like just like a monster, but it's honestly not too bad. Some of these storms are visible with the water vapor. A lot of these severe ones are actually a lot more visible. You can really see the brightness. Let's go to the infrared. Okay, so some of these storm tops are definitely, well, infrared, getting pretty big. Yeah, not bad. Storms are forming pretty good, actually. So let's look at some of the driving difficulties. Um, most of Nebraska in this northern spot, you'll see some flooding, possibly Albion, Nebraska, Genoa, uh, Stromsburg, Clarks, Fullerton. A lot of these places you could see some pretty heavy flooding, but we're ponding. Yeah. Let's look at some of this past 24-hour precip. There's been a lot in some of these regions. Denver has seen in parts uh, upwards of an inch to 2 inches, maybe even three in some spots. Getting up there, some spots on the Kansas and Nebraska border, you guys have seen 4 inches or so. Uh, yeah, nothing too bad yet, but it could get there pretty quickly. Ugh, radar spots, dude. Yeah, where the rain meets the mountains, you can see it's gonna cause some heavy snow to fall. In some of these spots, you guys have seen anywhere from maybe 2 inches to 20 inches of snow. So I highly doubt anybody would live up in this region, but I mean, if you do, yeah, you'll see some pretty heavy snow on the ground. Some of the wind speeds actually are pretty high in some of these areas. Right here, Fort Megan, more like Raymer, you could see anywhere between 20 and 30 mile an hour winds. Uh, so some pretty heavy duty winds, picking up quite a bit actually. And then this one spot in New Hampshire, I mean, this is just 'cause how the mountains form, but Mount Washington's like 20, 30, 40 mile an hour winds, pushing 45. Nothing horrible, honestly. Some of the dew points. Some high dew points throughout all of these spots, honestly. You can see 90% dew points in some of these spots down here throughout Texas. You can see where it's really fighting this sort of lesser dew points right next to the higher dew points. I think these are also just like the temperatures. Yeah, temperatures fighting each other, cold and the warm fighting each other for this uh area, and that's causing the storms as well. But honestly, some pretty heavy stuff. In some of these spots, Death Valley, you guys are seeing maybe 90 to 100-degree weather today. It gets pretty hot here, so let's actually look at Death Valley. Yeah, 98 degrees. Pretty crazy, but it's gonna stay in the hundreds for you guys for from anywhere from the 12th all the way to the 26th, and I don't expect it to get any colder than that. So, if anybody lives out there, that's actually sort of shocking. You guys have had a couple good days, but yeah, your average temperature is just gonna rise. 116 degrees is the average. Jeez, in July it gets to 118. Yeah, records are crazy. 127. 129s. 131. That's crazy. Yeah, so just if you live in that region, that's pretty crazy. And it's super neat to look on the map and actually look at that. But anyway, let's look at some of the storm uh, reports or the watches and warnings for a second. Okay, so it looks like we got another for David City to Columbus and Omaha, issued by Omaha. Um, it's a tornado watch, but yeah, they have it for quite a few regions of it. Okay, so some severe thunderstorm warnings. They remain in effect until 3:45 p.m., which is 4:45 p.m. EST. Hail damaging to vehicles expected. Uh, expect wind damage in roofs and sliding trees. Precautionary and preparedness actions. So go to your safe place if you have one. Uh, for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So go to your basement if you have one. Because some of these storms are not going to be friendly. Another severe thunderstorm warning. Uh, means in effect a severe thunderstorm. Well, severe thunderstorm was located over Pleasant Dale or 11 miles southeast of Seward, moving at 35 miles an hour. So pretty quick moving storm. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and a half-dollar sized hail. So that's pretty big if you know what a half dollar looks like. Uh, their locations impacted by this severe thunderstorm may include Branchard Oak State Recreation Area and Pawnee State Recreation Area. So if you're in any of those areas, make sure to take shelter until 5 p.m. EST or 4 p.m. CDT for you guys. Okay, so we have a tornado warning. I was trying to click on this one. Issued by Omaha. So, tornado warning for southwest Colfax County in northwestern Nebraska. So, southeast Platte County in northeastern Nebraska, northwestern Butler County, oh my god, in east central Nebraska. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 3 miles east of Rising City or 6 miles southwest of David City, moving at 25 miles per hour. So still pretty quick moving. Tornado and ping pong ball size hail. Radar indicated rotation. Flying debris will be dangerous, so just get to your safe place if you have one. Hopefully it'll blow over and not cause anything. Another tornado warning over here for uh same areas. Yeah. 3 miles southeast of Silver Creek or 15 miles southwest of Columbus, moving northwest at 40 miles per hour. So if you live in Monroe, Ankeny, Genoa, any of these areas, Rosenberg, Lindsay, Cornelia, St. Bernard, any of those areas, take shelter in your safe place. Because there is a rotating storm possible of producing a tornado coming your way. Look at severe thunderstorm warning issued by Lubbock, Texas. Uh, going through northwestern Stonewall counties. Let's see, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. So just be careful and go to your safe place as intended. Okay, let's try and click on this one. Doesn't really want me to click it. Whatever. Um, there is a warning in Odessa, West Odessa, and going up to Gardendale. Let's read that warning. Um, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect till 5:15 p.m. EST or 4:15 p.m. CDT. Severe thunderstorm was located near Odessa, moving north at 20 miles per hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Same sort of stuff we've been saying, but get to your safe place until 4:15 p.m. CDT. Yeah, so not looking great outside. A lot of storms that are very capable of producing these storms that could be pretty bad. Some of the storms moving across the border right now are capable of producing stuff, so be aware of that. Some of these guys, so if you live in anywhere of Black Knob, Tally Mountain, Iron Mountain, uh, Casa di Piedra, any of those regions, just go to your safe place if you need. Um, Overall, just be as prepared as you can for a situation. Lots of flood warnings and flood watches for um, areas in Texas. Could see later on some definitely strong storms move through the areas. Lots of marine threats for Corpus Christi. Small craft advisories. Just be safe if you're on a small craft, or just don't go out at all if you really have to. Probably Riptide. Hazardous sea warnings for uh, mm, hazardous sea warnings off the coast of Brookings, Gold Beach, Nesco Beach, and Port Orford. So just don't go out if you're on any of those. Be as safe as possible. Probably heat advisories for Seattle all the way down into Eugene. So just drink lots of water if you're gonna go outside because this could have some excessive heat warnings. Uh, it's really all that I am seeing right now. No winter warnings in the whole United States right now, so nothing with winter, which is good news, because we don't want to see anything with winter. It's too late for that. Tropical, let's see. Nothing tropical going on. Alright, so let's just look at some of the precipitation going on. So, 0.07 of an inch of rain already seen in some of these areas. 0.35. So, definitely some strong storms moving through, like we said would happen. Nothing really there, but let's go up to here. A lot of these areas have seen a lot of rain today, so like it was saying, 1.5 inches of rain, pretty crazy. Temperatures are looking pretty nice overall. 70 degrees in Seattle, 76. You see some 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. If you look closely, maybe no. Uh, some overall okay weather. Uh, 88 degrees in some of these spots in Maryland. 85 degrees in Virginia. Even up into Maine, it's 80 degrees in some spots. So, overall, a pretty nice day. Um, Here's what the whole U.S. looks like right now. Sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, you can see this. It might be a little cold in places in Montana and North Dakota, but depends on which side of North Dakota. One side it is maybe 50 degrees, and the other side it's pushing 80. So, depends on where you live. Like I said, some of these spots in California are crazy hot right now. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Coming up on hurricane season, that'll be a pretty active season from the looks of it. Entering an El Nino, so more severe storms. as you can see, and definitely some more hurricane activity. Couple pop-up thunderstorms in Florida, for any of you Floridians that could ever watch this. A couple pop-ups could see some just scattered storms pop up overnight in some of these areas, but nothing horrible. By the time you wake up, they'll be gone. It's decent outside, actually. Yeah, mid 80s all week. Upper 80s, actually. That's crazy. And then isolated thunderstorms. Then we really start to get going with our summer season. So, that's amazing. Oh, yeah. So, you guys might have seen this. The Alberta fires could worsen as heat dome forms. So, what is a heat dome? Well, a heat dome is basically a dome of heat that just sticks over a region for a super long time. So, here is Alberta, right? And you can see up here it's like a lot warmer than it is down here for some reason. And it's sort of weird, and it stays that way for like the whole night. Well, a heat dome is when two areas of warm air and moisture can form, and it just basically sticks. It's like a high pressure that just stays in place for a super long time, and this warm air just doesn't leave. So it can stay in the 80s for weeks to months, like maybe a month or two, but you get what I mean. Like it could be very, very hot for a long and extended period of time. Could even reach like 90s in some spots. Like it can get bad, but that is basically what is going on up here. That's why it's been so hot recently up here. Yeah. So that's probably all I'm gonna do for today. It's a live stream. I do pretty short live streams, honestly, sometimes. Um, might look at a couple. And anyways, make sure to like and subscribe if you see this later.